senior lecturer for adult nursing, but also...
Teamworking is relevant as registered nurses professionally, and you'll find out in the course that we do a lot of group work, and that's something that we really expect teams to work together, people to commit to the group and share out the work equally, and really, I think, start the team working from day one.
Gosh, this is a bit scary having a microphone, isn't it? I think that my expectation of you will be to ask for help. If you don't know something or you're finding things tricky, just to not be afraid to ask for help. And that's the same in your academic side of your course as well as in practice. You know, nobody's going to expect you to have all the answers to everything straight away or ever. So it's really important that you're brave and ask for help when you need it.
Kind of adding on from that, I'd say the courage to speak out and, sorry Tracy, and to highlight poor practice, and that again, that goes into the academic side as well as the practical element of the course. Having that courage to speak out, and you know, if you see that something's wrong, just because you're student nurses doesn't mean you're wrong in your, you know, in what you're speaking out about. So just having that courage to, you know, go above and beyond, even senior colleagues, when you're in your placement areas. If you're not happy with something, speak to someone.
Thanks. Right, now I've got the mic. Oops. I don't know if I already heard it. Respectfulness, I think. This course and the patients, clients you're going to come across are going to push you. They're going to push you to your limits, and you know, it's going to be quite emotive for you sometimes. So it's about being respectful about how you deal with those situations. You know, so treating people as you expect to be treated. And that includes things like your communication and also our communication back to you. Like I say, you can be put in situations where you might act quite emotionally and be very blunt. So just take a step back, have a little think, and then send the email, I would say. But equally for us. But I do wish you all the best. Thanks.
Looking out for each other, as we know, it is an emotional course, and it's challenging in academic work, but also challenging in practice. And for those of you that haven't worked in healthcare before, you know, you'll see so much in practice that it's really important to, your tutor groups will be your family that you take through the course, and it's really important to look out for each other. You know, I'm sure you'll all develop WhatsApp groups and things, but if someone, you know, leaves skills seemingly upset, having that kind of group, you know, okay, how will someone like get in touch with them, check in on them? So it's really important, I think, to look after each other as well as looking after the patients that you'll meet.
I'll show you what to do and what not to do. Right? The easy way to do is I agree with every one of them. Yeah? But that is not what we expect or what I expect students to do, because when you are in the activity in the future, or even sometimes this afternoon, yeah, we started from afternoon, yeah, it's very easy to do. Yeah? So we don't want that. I want your own free individual thing, right? So for me, I would expect everybody to relax. It's year one, alright? So you are going to have pressure in year 2 and year 3. We guarantee that, right? So year 1, take it as a holiday, alright?
Taryn, anything you wanted to add to expectations? expectations you have of people?
I'd step back so you didn't say my name. Yeah, all of the above. But I also want to see some respect for the code. I would say from an adult perspective, sadly, and that does go for community, so it's a bit like respect for the uniform. And I don't mean the closed uniform, I mean the fact that you have to think about as a student what our code says. Have you all seen the NMC Code of Conduct? Yeah. Have you all heard of the NMC? Yes. Because you'd expect me to act in that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, again, I would add to everything everybody's said. Somebody once said to me that one of the most important things in nursing is learning, not knowing. You're never going to stop learning. You'll know lots, but you absolutely won't know everything. And the nice thing about getting older, and my colleagues will attest to, the more experiences you have and the more things you do, the more you realise how little you actually know. How little you actually know about people. And the more you're learning about people. So we have massive expectations on you to just be open to learning. To be open to challenging the way you currently see the world. Because you see things in one way doesn't necessarily mean everybody else does. And you know that. But you've got to be open for that. Just saying it doesn't work. So are you open to learning? Are you open to new things? Because that will create feelings of being really uncomfortable. That will make you feel vulnerable. And if you allow that to happen, and you allow us to look after you as well, you'll learn. The only bit of advice I would give you is work hard this year. The first year of undergraduate honours degree study is the most important, from my perspective. And the reason it's important is that it's where you set the scene for how you're going to approach both the academic and the practical side of this course. If you set out knowing you've got to read and you plan and you start reading, if you set out understanding that for all of the modules you have to do, you've got assessments to undertake and you've got work to do to get there. Can't be avoided. And if you put that work in this year, you set the scene for the whole of your course.
Can we send us some seats? Sorry.
But if you approach this year as, I'll settle in, it'll be okay, and I'll sort myself out next year, never works, God. Start this year and this course and get yourself off running. Okay? So, 4 pillars.
Prioritising people. Promoting professionalism and trust. Preserving safety. Practising effectively.
Everybody hear all of that?
No.
Do you want this, sorry?
No. Prioritising people. Promoting professionalism and trust. Preserving safety. Practising effectively. The people you are working with are central to their care and must be involved. Promoting professionalism, we talked about being professional, and we talked about trust and what happens when someone isn't trustworthy and makes headline news and brings the whole profession into question. Preserving safety, about being up to date. It's about ensuring that you do risk assessments and understand what risk management is, and understanding what good patient assessment is. And practicing effectively, again, it's about being up to date, so it means it's lifelong learning. You'll all learn loads in the first 3 years, and you will change as people, because it will change your viewpoint. It will test your relationships with people close to you. You will also rely on the people close to you. Because once you start your nurse training, until you retire, which for me, instead of being 60, is now 67, I think. For you guys, I'm not quite sure, because you're a bit younger than I am. So I would imagine 70. You'll be doing my job before then, I'm sure. You know, you will still be learning.
We will randomly ask you what the 4 pillars are. And I'd expect you to know. That's a bit unfair of me, I know. But I would.
That's what your one is about.
These 4 pillars underpin you and nursing. What are they? Who's going to panic now? Because Terry has mentioned them twice. Who's going to panic when I come and stick this microphone under your nose and say, naming the 4 pillars?
6 C's, I always forget one.
Okay? I'm not going to do it, but
not today anyway.
These guys are going to do it to you at some point, not just about this, but about other things. When you talk about your expectations, how do I engage? How do I keep engaged when I'm sat in a room talking about stuff I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm very hot and sweaty? We will talk to you about good health and good character. At the start of this course, you have all declared that you are of good health and good character.
Have you all done your DBS? Because if you don't get it done, you will not go into practice. End of. We had people who loaded up backsetting because they didn't do it in good time. So please don't leave anything till the last minute.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I have one come back to about 3 weeks and have nothing.
It does sometimes take a while, so don't. That's why we ask you to do it in good time. If anyone's moved 2 or 3 times for various reasons, it will take a bit longer.
So,
It just does because they do lots of checks.
DBS is one thing. DBS just tells us you haven't been caught. I'm sorry to be blunt about it, but that's the bottom line. It just tells us you haven't been caught. It actually doesn't tell us anything about your good health and good character. And other people will judge that. Other people will. And we will as well. Because at the end of your course, in 3 or 4 years' time, for you to enter the register, my colleagues and I will have to declare that you are of good health and good character. And that has very little to do with DBS. That has to do with how you have conducted yourself on this course. All of the expectations that people have, you will be measured against. And we will hold you to those. That is our job under our registration. And if we don't sign that declaration of good health and good character about how you have conducted yourself, you will not be able to enter the nursing register. That's why it's on that screen. It is extremely important.
So can I just say, if you have any brushes with the police, for any reason, regardless, please just have a quiet chat with your personal tutor. And that personal tutor is the person who you will spend the afternoon with. If you get caught speeding, you can mention it. I did hold my hand up many years ago, and I told my manager at the time, and she said, I don't think that makes any difference to your registration. I said, but I just wanted to be honest. I recently had an experience where someone applied for a role
tutors we will cover lots of this as we go along with you. One final thing around good health and good character that comes up repeatedly. What's this, guys? Mobile
Dangerous.
phone? Yeah? Fantastic. Wonderful. I won't be without it. Well, I would, but it's great. The tutors and all of us will talk to you about what you think your version of safe and professional use of social media repeatedly. Okay? It's not that you can't engage with it, it's not that you can't enjoy it and celebrate it and use it to celebrate you and your colleagues and everything else. But it poses challenges. A lot of challenges. Months don't go by until we're having to have a conversation about the way in which someone has posted something on Instagram, uploaded something onto their Facebook. You know, I know what those things are. Correct me if I'm wrong. It happens. And we will continuously talk to you about it. Today is just raising your awareness of these things and the expectations that we have on you during this course. Professionalism, as we talked about, and we will bang on about this continuously and what it means. We'll talk to you about evidence-based practice and what we think that is, what we know it to be, but also the challenges with it. How do we currently know the things we know about health conditions? Has it always been that way? Will it always be the way it is now? Fundamentally, you are the innovators. We're not, you are. How are you going to change this stuff that we do now? Excites the living daylights out of us listening to you. Absolutely excites. You bring new ideas, you bring new thinking, you bring enthusiasm. And we're looking forward to it. We want you to be effective communicators. So you have to come and do a song and a dance. That's the fourth. No? You should like We expect you to be effective communicators or to develop those skills. What makes you uncomfortable? Do you know what makes me uncomfortable? Anybody want to ask me? Speaking to large groups of people. Makes me really uncomfortable. You have no idea the anxiety I feel.
I think that speaks for most of us, isn't it? I actually said
You have no idea what I am trying to do and not stutter over my words. How do you think I managed that? What have you noticed that I'm doing?
You wonder.
Well, so I'm keeping moving. What else am I doing? I'm trying to engage you. What else am I doing? There's one thing. I'm not using it, but I've got it in my hand. I've got a prompt. This is my stress reliever while I'm talking to you. I'm not planning to bang on take it. So what do you do? Because all of us are going to make you feel uncomfortable. us are going to put you into situations.
Excuse me. Just move anything.
All of us are going to make you feel uncomfortable because it's the nature of the course. Got to develop how we communicate. What are you going to do? How are you going to develop those skills? It is impossible to develop into a nursing role without understanding how you communicate, how you present, how you come across, how you develop the skills you already have, and how you start to develop the skills that you know you need to enhance. What makes you uncomfortable? Do not hide from what makes you uncomfortable, because it becomes impossible to do. Because at some point in a classroom, on a ward, in a community environment, that will come out. So actually embrace it. What makes me uncomfortable? What do I find challenging and difficult? And expose yourself to it. My colleagues and I will look after you. But you have to put yourself in positions where you're going to develop. One of the things that I think is most important for all of you and for all of us is that we remember that it's okay to be nice. It's okay to be nice to each other. And in actual fact, the nicer we are to each other, the more compassionate we are to each other, the more understanding we are of both our similarities and our differences, the better time you will have. It is okay to have an argument. It is okay to have a row. It is okay to have a disagreement. But how are you doing it? I guarantee you there are colleagues of mine at the front here that are going, I wouldn't do this in the way that Tony's doing. And they'd be comfortable having that conversation. Because we all see things slightly differently. And we all go about things differently, and that's okay. But remember to be nice to each other. Remember to be kind to each other. Remember to be pleasant. Especially to us. You will hear lots of other terms. Patient-centered care. I'll leave that for you and your personal tutors to work out what that means. Still wrangling with it myself. Okay, personal tutors, personal development tutors, otherwise known as personal tutors, course leaders. What other language can we throw at you today?
FTW.
Oh, so on your timetable, you will see lots of different things. Lectures speaks for itself. A lecture, some sort of talking activity. Us talking to you or with you. Standard lecture. This sort of stuff. We also have FTW, facilitated teamwork. FTW.
That's what it says on the packet.
Group work. Small groups, large groups, group work. Okay? So we'll do that with you. What else have we got?
DROs.
Developmental reviews you will see on your timetable. What's a DRO? It's a particular activity that may link to assessment activity, it may link to clinical placement activity that we're talking about. Any other language or terminology? TBL, team-based learning. Kate, what's team-based learning?
So it's part of the
So we do a lecture, and then we do a period of learning to consolidate that lecture called team-based learning. So somebody's just had a lecture on, give me now, pass-ons, respiratory, cardiovascular, and then you will have a TBL activity testing you, checking your learning out. So, lectures, facilitated teamwork, developmental review sessions, TBL. Anything else, guys?
Skills.
And skills you will see on your timetable. It's where you're actively doing something. Actively learning on a clinical skill. All of you will have mandatory skills that you are required to attend university for. And those mandatory skills, you have to do them before you can go on your clinical testings. Okay? We'll talk to you about that. Any other terminology? Yes, you'll see PPP on your timetable. Preparation for professional practice. It's where we're talking to you about going out on your placement.
And the assessments needed.
Cool. PPT, preparation for professional practice. Other language that we will use, and I'll come to you in a second, that we use, and I apologise for me and my colleagues, because we use this language day in, day out, we forget that we need to stop and remember that it's new for you. It is okay for you to go, don't know what you mean. I've heard it 100 times, but I don't know what you mean. Could you just explain that to me again? You must do that. It's our fault because we're using it all of the time. It's not yours. Stop us, ask us, slow us down. Developmental review. You may not understand when you start going through those sessions, well, what's the difference between this and that? For us, there is a difference because of the activity that we're doing. Okay? Just so you get used to the language. Skills, I'm trying to think if there's one up there, there's another one. Okay, let's move on. Oh, let's not worry about SPL for the moment. IPL, you will see IPL on your timetable. Otherwise known as interprofessional learning. And each of your modules will have an IPL day, where we're doing some interprofessional activity. Okay? Again, we'll talk to you about that, but you will see IPL on your timetable. The other things to get used to, which again, we will talk to you in your personal tutor groups, is timetabling. It's actually not complex. Where am I supposed to be? But it can be. So this morning, we're in SCI, Sci 105. Yeah? Sci 105. This building is called the Science Building. So it's the Science Building. Okay? And we're in room 105. And that's how your timetabling works. The nursing campus, or the health campus, is not on the main campus. It's 5 minutes walk down the road. And it's called Young Street. And on your timetable, you will have YST 009, 105, 218, so on and so forth. The YST stands for Young Street, the building you're going to be in. Some of you this afternoon are in various buildings. Do you want to put it there?
They're all in the same building.
So you will have LAB, LAB. That stands for Lord Ashcroft Building. So already, language, communication. Don't panic. Nobody expects you to know, but eventually you'll get used to the timetabling and the abbreviations we use. what are you going to do in the meantime, guys?
I'm going to ask you, Tony. That's what I'm going to do. If I don't know, I'm going to stop somebody. I'm going to say, what does that mean?
You're going to ask. Yeah? And ask as many times as you need. Guys, is there anything so far you wanted to add? Anything that we've said?
The first number of first floor. So if you're in 212, you'll be on the second floor. So that's the way to narrow it down quite quickly.
Right. The only thing, this is what I'm going to put a line in there. I haven't been in this building for a long time. This building, it's a relatively new building. I haven't been in here, and I actually haven't been in this room before. First time I've been in this room like you. And I came in this building this morning, and I went to the first floor because it's side 105. And when I went to the first floor, all the rooms said 2.
So in this building, ground floor is 1.
So Kate's absolutely right. You go to Young Street, 00, ground floor, 1, first floor, 2.
So if you are with Larry, for example, I believe you are Rowan and Sycamore, is that right? Yeah. So what mental health students who were here earlier?
Put your hands up, mental health students, please. Purely mental health students.
Which room are you going to?
220. Is that what you said?
220.
Only 220. Okay.
So Rowan and Sycamore, if you're told you're going to 215, you're not. You're all going to 220. And as Kate said, Lord Ashcroft building on this campus, 2 means level 2. 20 is the room. You'll say 222 on the room. Yeah? So that's where you're going. Ash, is that an adult level? Anybody know if they're in Ash? Don't know yet. Okay, there's an interesting conversation. Ash, Fallon, Cedar, Fir, are they all adult?
Yes.
Everybody, apart from Maple, are on the second floor. Everybody apart from Maple. Maple, you are on the ground floor of Lord Ashcroft building 005. Okay? That's how it works. Go for it.
When did we actually find out what rooms were in?
Could be fun. We'll work it out.
Okay, cool.
We'll sort that out. Bring it back. See if there's anything else. Right. I'm going to come to you now. Going to come to you. We've got a break coming up. I think our masters meeting will be a little bit earlier than 10:30. So we're going to have a break. So I'm going to ask if there's any questions right now. And if it's stuff we're going to cover after the break, I'll just say we'll pick it up later. But I wanted to offer an apology. We will call you out if there's something we don't think is good enough. Professionalism, standards, behaviour, the way in which we are communicating and talking to each other, dignity, respect, kindness. We will call you out. And you should call us out as well. 100%. But we should also take a big step back and acknowledge when we haven't done something wrong. like I did this month. I expected everybody to be here at 9 o'clock. I made a comment that said, it's okay, it's first day, not to worry, but make sure you're here at 9 o'clock if your timetable hit at 9 o'clock. And that may have made some people uncomfortable, because some students, nursing associate students, were actually told, be here for 9:30. So I apologise if I made you feel uncomfortable by saying that. I apologise. It's not fair, it's not right, because it puts you in an uncomfortable position. So this is how we treat each other. Okay? With dignity and a bit of respect, and we acknowledge when we haven't got things right. I apologise if I made anybody feel uncomfortable by making that statement. However, if you are timetabled at 9 o'clock, be here at 9 o'clock. I'm going to get follow on.
Get yourself sit down, get ready. 9 o'clock, the lecture starts. So don't come in at 9 o'clock when the lecture starts, because it's very important.
So Larry's 9 o'clock is 5 to 9 or 10 to 9. Yeah? We know that things happen. We know that traffic can be chaos, buses can let you down, you can't get past, so on and so forth. Yeah? We understand that. And over time you will learn how to manage when you're on campus how Cambridge works, particularly those of you that don't know Cambridge that well. Okay? And you'll learn that, and we know that. Okay? Have any of you got anything you want to ask me before we go for a break, or any of my colleagues down the front? And I would love it if you could target someone down the front and ask them quite a specific question. Anybody got a question they want to ask? Doesn't matter what it is. Nice and loud for me.
What's all your reasons for being a nurse?
My reasons for being a nurse? Oh my word!
Cracking question.
That's not an easy question to answer on the basis that I don't have a single answer for you. Yeah? It's also linked to my areas of speciality and the work that I've done over the years. So it's softened change. The overriding issue for me is people fascinate me. People absolutely fascinate me. I have a deep interest in understanding how we all tick and why we tick in the way that we do. What is it about your life, your experiences, the things you have done that have got you to the point where you are now? I have no idea why you are all sitting here. And if any one of you said to me, it's because I like people, I'd roar with laughter. Because that is the get out of jail clause for all nurses. Why are you a nurse? Because I like people. Ah. It's such a fantastic question, but a really difficult one to answer. So I challenge you and everybody else. It's not one thing that's got you to sit here today. So what are the things that are driving and motivating you to be here? What's driving and motivating you to be here?
The response is, it's not really one specific thing. It's a lot of complex things that happen. I asked the question purely because I knew that there wasn't really a true answer to that.
So we have the same answer, don't we? Yeah? Can't quite put my finger on it, but this is where I am. And maybe I do need to understand that a bit. What a lovely question. What was your name?
Lee.
Lee. Thank you very much.
Are you a mental health student?
Adult nursing.
Any other questions, guys? Anything? For me or my colleagues?
What at the back?
My role, I'm an academic, a nurse academic. I take on the role of personal tutor. I'm also one of the deputy heads of school. And I have areas of responsibility for child nursing and mental health nursing. But I love you all irrespective of your field of nursing. I'm involved with adult nursing, so I will see you. Specialise in mental health nursing, that's my registration, but my job is to oversee child and mental health. But you'll see me around it. You can still talk to me if you're an adult nurse, you know. You don't have to run away and spit and kick at me.
We teach on all of the various courses. Some of your first and your final year is all mixed. It's the middle year or middle 2 years, the dual registrations, where you go into specialist areas of particularly adult, child and mental health. So you will see at some point all of us. And just because you, as Tony's quite rightly said, you will be able to talk to anyone.
Please, please, please don't ignore us in the corridor. There's nothing worse than 20 students walk by and just ignore me completely.
The only time they will do that is if they're going in KFC in their uniforms and they're on skills days, but it's lunchtime.
Any other questions? Anything? So I'm honest before we send you off for a breather. Anything? Oh God, sorry, Miles, go for it. How should you address us? By name or sir? That's an interesting question, because that is both culturally driven and personally. I won't criticise any of you if culturally you refer to people in certain ways, sir, Mr, Mrs, Miss, however what your pronouns are, however you identify. We completely respect that. And we apologise if we, let's start with pronouns and how you identify. Remind us, feel comfortable reminding us, and we will follow what we want. And I expect everybody to respect that. My colleagues would expect everybody to respect that. But we won't automatically know. So check that out. Feel comfortable letting people know. Culturally, if you are used to calling people sir, Mr, that's okay. I may remind you that please forgive me because I feel uncomfortable being called sir.
Oh, sorry.
It's not you, I feel it. So I'm not saying to you, you can't do that. Yeah? If that's what feels comfortable to you, that is entirely for you to do. I'm Tony. Or Oi. There are some of my colleagues far more interesting words that they call. So,
but can I just add something to that? It goes back to the use of mobile phones. Text speaks wonderful to your best friend. I don't expect to get emails saying hi, mate. Particularly when it comes with an M and an 8. I get a little bit upset. I normally try and say hi, whoever, or dear so-and-so. But yeah. I don't expect emails saying man.
I don't understand that anyway. Any other questions, guys?
Mind you.
Go for it. Any of you regret becoming a nurse? No.
Everyone has good days, everyone has bad days. 9 times out of 10 it's a satisfaction.
I mean, I've been here 5 years, but I still keep that little bit of me working at the books, so I still do corrections.
But guys, I would say one thing. You have our utmost respect. 100% you have our respect. Because you're here. You've made the decision to come and do this. Nobody's forced you into it, hopefully. Nobody's told you you've got to come and do this. You have made that choice and that decision. So however you've got here, or whatever's driven you to this point, you have to own that. And we 100% respect you for that. We know how hard it is. We know what the challenges are of being a nurse. But we also know what the joys are of being a nurse. And you've got all of that to come. And we hope you have a really good time doing it. Even though it's really hard. You going to get a break? Oh. Charlie. Simple answer to that is yes. So Charlie said, can I repeat what you said? What's some issues with my maths? And I know that, certainly from a nursing point of view, maths does become quite important. Okay? For you as students, it becomes quite important because you've got medication exams, online drug calculations. Yeah, there's support just about everything. What's the most important thing for you to do? Ask, talk to us, let us know. And if we don't know, then we're in the direction where we can find out. What you've just done is just accept where things are for you. Get the help that you need. I'm not on a holiday. Right, time, what's wrong with the doctor? Back for 11 yards, please. Stand down when you've done it. We're just getting lost now.
Yeah, I got one.